Hello and welcome to this review of my Bloomberg FRE100 Freeboard Terminal Keyboard. It was made in 2008 in Mexico, and until very recently it was not just by far the most modern keyboard I've ever owned, but also the only USB one. Specifically, it has both a USB and PS2 connector on the same cable, which unusually is transparent. And it's a bit unusual to find a terminal keyboard that comes with a USB connector, but this system works a bit different from many others on the market. Essentially, it's a proprietary terminal that allows the user access to the Bloomberg service, which is a program that could do stock exchange trading and analysis, available starting from $20,000 per year per terminal. This particular model is the third generation of Bloomberg Terminal Keyboard, with model code FRE100, and it's nicknamed the Freeboard according to the Bloomberg website. It's got non-slip rubber pads here and in the other corners, and nice, very snappy flip-out feet. They're pretty small, but they work alright. It's also got two audio jack sockets for microphones and headsets, but I'll come to that later. Michael Bloomberg himself said that the design of these terminal keyboards was done in such a way that it's easy to use for anyone, including people who have no previous computing experience. That's why the keys are grouped a little bit differently, and why the keyboard is color-coded in certain places. It's also not very big, because the nav cluster is only one row wide, and the rim of the keyboard is fairly small. Being a terminal keyboard, of course, it has some weird legends like law, government, corp, and MTGE, which I think might mean mortgage. There's a big message button here, commodity, index, currency, alpha, and a set of keys showing fractions as well as currency symbols on them. This keyboard has a few quite unusual features on it, including this fingerprint scanner at the bottom left of the keyboard, presumably to securely log into the Bloomberg service. This place is also where the tiny lock LEDs are located, as well as the volume controls, but these volume controls are not for the computer, they're for the speakers. Yes, that's right, this keyboard has speakers, one behind each of these grills here. The sound quality isn't great, especially if you listen to a lot of hard rock and metal like I do, but it's better than I thought it would be, and it's in stereo. Here's a few different tracks to show what the speakers sound like in action. Well, you can tell by the way I use my voice, I'm a woman's man, no time to talk. The music loud, when they walk, the thing came to rap, since I was born. Sometimes the case really vibrates a lot, which is quite audible, but for normal conversation it's pretty decent though, and it's really powerful, so much so that I keep getting afraid that I might blow the speakers when I play things at high volume. Seriously, I'm not kidding, it's absolutely ridiculous. I can't demonstrate it though because YouTube lowers the volume on loud videos nowadays, so it wouldn't really show up very well if I did. It uses miniature, discrete rubber domes over membrane, and it's fairly low profile but has noticeably more travel than a chiclet keyboard, and it feels nothing like it. The domes are really snappy, and as a result the keyboard is extremely, but I mean extremely tactile. The switches are either up or down, there's really no in between. And this does give lots of feedback while typing, and the key feel really isn't bad at all, especially for a rubber dome keyboard, but I think they might have gone just a little bit overboard with the tactility here in my opinion. It's so strong that it's getting to the point where it's almost distracting. Overall, it's a pretty nice typing experience though. It's not that bad, just maybe slightly too much for some people. For a rubber dome board, it's really well built though. Even though it's one of the smallest keyboards I own at the moment, and a rubber dome one at that, it weighs just under 1.4 kilos. That's more than a full-size mechanical Cherry G80 3000. Quite impressive, I'd say. So, although it's a rubber dome keyboard with pad-printed keys, it's not cheap or flimsily made or anything. It feels sturdy and like a quality product. Besides, how many keyboards do you know that have stereo speakers, a microphone and headset socket, and a goddamn fingerprint scanner on them? Because there are hundreds of thousands of Bloomberg terminals around the globe, this keyboard is not rare. Nonetheless, you won't find many of these keyboards floating around. I've had this board for almost a year, I think, and I've only seen 2 come by on eBay during that time. The reason is that in the financial sector, most hardware, including keyboards, is regarded with extreme suspicion because they're afraid they might store sensitive information somehow. So they tend to destroy all these boards, which is why you don't see many of them. Fortunately, I didn't get this from a businessman, I got it from the uni instead, for free in fact, and ironically, although keyboards would normally never store any sensitive information of course, the fingerprint scanner in this one actually might. Anyway, that's it for this review. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed it, and following is a typing demonstration of me typing on this keyboard.